Welcome to Digital 100. I'm your host, Patrick Wagner, and this is episode number 16. And today's episode, I'm going to talk about a quick update on how things have gone in the first 15 episodes, some of the things I've learned, some changes I'm hoping to make, and just give you an overall view of what's coming up. So first is security keys. So those security keys I did my video on. I don't actually have it in front of me, but those little guys, fantastic. Everything's been working perfect. I took them up to the cottage, so I was in a new network zone. I used a computer. I used my keys everywhere I went when I needed to. Didn't have any problems. Was able to access my email, my Gmail, all my services correctly. So from a overall, consumer use point of view, this MultiPass security key, fantastic. The Bluetooth aspect on a mobile phone, fantastic. So overall, A plus, 10 out of 10 so far. I'm really excited to seeing more vendors and more platforms starting to add these security keys as multi-layer security, going above the 2FA SMS. So thank goodness in some ways the hack that happened at Reddit really got people going and to understanding the importance. Next is a little update on some of the videos that I have made. So I've powered through about 15 videos on this channel. And the number one video, surprisingly enough, was my video on Chromebooks and how to create your own Chromebook from a USB stick. So that video, which I didn't think much of, it was content I created actually because I was learning these things for myself and for my own personal use. And then I always think anything I do for myself at this point, I should be making into content. So that's what I did with that video. And I get about 50 to 100 views every week to that video. No fail. No matter what happens every 7 days, it's getting about 100 views. So it's impressive that usually the content you're not always sure or don't think is going to be the biggest thing ends up being the biggest thing. So again, good advice, just make lots of content and keep putting it out there, and then you'll see what people like, and then you'll see what people want more of. Some of the next videos I'm going to be working on that I'm really excited about is the social media platforms and how to kind of optimize them and use some of the more detailed tools that integrate well with the advertising as well. So we're going to go over Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as some other platforms, but those three are my key ones that I want to focus on, go in depth on each of those, and really kind of make sure that whatever profiles you guys have set up, that you've maximized them as much as possible, and that will help on the next round of videos after that, which will be social media advertising and how to on a low budget. And I'm going to try to work on $30 to $100 budgets. So for a lot of startup folks, entrepreneurs, small business owners that want to take a chance on social media but don't want to throw a lot of money at the problem or make it into a big problem that way. So we're going to go over Facebook and Instagram and using that ad platform. I think that's a great opportunity, and I'm going to show how for as little as $30 a month you can start establishing a foothold in social media in that area. And then I'm going to go over Twitter and Twitter ads and what you're really looking for on Twitter. Again, each platform has something unique, so you have to know where either your audience or your users live. And you also have to adjust how you communicate with your users. It's difficult if you spend most of your time on email and telephone and you don't go into your Twitter inbox or your direct message box for Instagram. That's problematic. You can't do that. Those are the inboxes of the future and of most people active in social media. So you have to incorporate that. Some of these big fancy platforms are actually doing that. They're actually drawing in all of these sources into one inbox so that people can feel it's more like email and it's more comfortable for them. Next, I'm going to go over some other videos after that, teaching video itself and how to create videos simply, how to set up your own kind of vlogging setup, how to use your own camera and smartphones as well, how to do live video and live streams, how to record on your screens, and some of the basic equipment you need. It's one of these things where you could easily spend way too much money than necessary, And there's a lot of really good basic equipment out there that really does an incredible job and will really help you scale as you kind of create more and more content. Plus, the type of content you're trying to create, it really does matter the kind of equipment you need. There's no point in buying a bunch of 4K cameras that need to plug into a computer when you spend 80% of your time going between store locations, talking to your staff, talking to everybody and your customers. You're going to need a portable solution and looking at what's the best thing for that and whether you need audio included or just images. Those kinds of little details matter. So understanding your scenario and what you do and matching that up. So I'm going to go over that on video. Also, I'm going to kind of work on a lot of the tips that I do with people that I work with on vlogging or video development or production to get you over the hump of that very first video or the very first few videos. Because I think that's always the hardest for an individual or a business itself, is to kind of put those first videos out and realize, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad and it wasn't that hard. And you know what? We can do this and more and more. And then it starts to get exciting and then you start to see responses because of it. So I'm going to go over that hump and trying to figure it out, as well as avoiding excuses and trying to figure out every excuse in the book of why you can't do something. And just an example, I'm going to pull up my cell phone. I'm going to show you. I broke my screen right here at the top. Yeah, there you go. I cracked it right where the camera is about 2 weeks ago. And, I put it on myself to not stop making videos, to not stop doing self-facing video, which you have to in Instagram. As you know, I just posted earlier today a video on what type of content you should make. That's using my front-facing camera that's cracked and broken, because I wanted to kind of follow the advice I give everybody, as well as the advice I was given by my mentor, Gary Vee, which is, don't make excuses. There's no reason you can't do this. Like, if I can produce a self-facing video today with a cracked screen that really you shouldn't be doing, and it turns out okay, then why am I not doing it? Don't put barriers and reasons stopping yourself from making content. So that's the reason why in that video I talk about what type of content should you be making and finding content that you're comfortable with. So whether you're good at writing, then do blogs and articles. If you're good at images, then take photos. If you're good at manipulating images, make graphics, infographics, work on presentations. If you're good at spoken word, then you should be having your own podcast. Then if you're looking at getting onto video, but you want to do it off camera first, you can do presentations. You can do screen broadcasting, video game recording. Then you can work your way in front of the camera and start to interview and ask questions of people, and then work your way into doing these types of videos. So there's a bit of a process there. Start where you're comfortable with, and that way you'll have the most authentic results, and your authentic person will come through the most. If I took you as a writer and jammed you in front of a camera and said, go ahead and speak, it's going to look robotic. I look back at some of my early videos and it just seems like I'm frozen staring at these headlights going like, what do I say? And the more comfortable you become, the better the quality of video, the more people can associate with you, the more you're looking directly at people rather than staring off at some words as you read them out. And once you see this development happen, your audience sees it as well, and they get excited and they want to tune in, and there's a real connection that gets created at that point. So start with the content you're most comfortable with and work your way up as you change, as you develop. And I think that's probably the best advice you can have for creating a lot of content as well, which is the key. Another worst thing I can do is drop you in front of a microphone and say, have a podcast, even though you're not a great public speaker, and say, make a lot of content. You might turn out one podcast every 2 weeks or every month. That's not possible. You can't win with that. I'd much rather you be a writer and turn out, an article or a blog post a day than to force you to be an on-screen, video celebrity and have you so uncomfortable and paralyzed in fear that you actually can't create any content. That's worthless. So that's part of it. I think keep that in mind. So I'm going to go over all of these things in the next coming videos. I'm really excited. If you guys have any questions, any comments related to your businesses or experiences, comment down below in this video. Reach out to me on Twitter at Patrick Wagner. I'd love to answer any of your questions. And I'm really excited. I want to help everybody, including myself. Let's build some digital business and let's get out there and have a great day.